Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. My name is Steve Robinson. I am one of the business development guys at Galarath. I am based in the UK. With me, as always, is my colleague Keith Garland. He is going to walk you through today's session. Keith is our training and support manager. If you have any questions, my details, Keith's details are on the screen in front of you. Please feel free to get in touch. We will be more than happy to help and provide any additional assistance that you may require. So today, again, we'll take probably 15, 20 minutes of your time. Today, what we're going to look at is how to create a knowledge base template in SEER for manufacturing, and why they are useful. Fundamentally, a knowledge base is a file which saves parameters particularly set up by you, the user, and allows you to capture and store corporate knowledge to allow you to share that with your internal user community. I need to stress this because we get this question a lot. If we create knowledge bases and use our own and create our own data, can anybody who is a SEER customer see that information? The answer to that question is no. The data that is created by you, the customer, is held by you, the customer, unless we enter into any particular arrangements. But fundamentally, it is secure as the servers that it resides upon. So the purpose of today is to walk through that process, to walk through the process of setting up knowledge bases, saving knowledge bases, how you can perhaps create a master template file for all of your knowledge bases, so that there is a single source of all of that information. So without further ado, I will hand you over to Keith to walk you through this. Keith, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. So hello, everybody. Once again, we're going to have a look at SEER for manufacturing, and this time the creation, the saving of knowledge bases, which I highly recommend, I advocate. It starts to introduce repeatability, speed, consistency, and all those nice things we strive for whilst doing estimates. It takes away some of the judgments that we sometimes may alter depending on our mood, depending on the job, the complexity, and so on. But it is a good common starting point from which you could start to create your base estimates from. So knowledge bases are individual work elements that are going to set up for you on your behalf many of the common features that we will see here in the general tab. They are work element specific, so you need knowledge bases for machining, you need knowledge bases for fabrication, PCB assembly, and so on. So whilst you do that, remember that is the reason why you will have a lot of knowledge bases. We provide you with sample knowledge bases. You can delete our knowledge bases, and you can start again with all of your own, so that you have your own independent view of the world, not depending upon some of the information which we give you, which is a little bit generic and at times to just help you get started by opening and closing certain parameters, particularly in fabrication. So we'll start today by inserting a work element. We'll insert a machining, top of the list. So this is going to be, call this, I like to think, this is the name that will appear on the drop-down list for your knowledge bases. So think about the name and how you wish to describe that process. How do you want to recognize it as being one of yours? So it could be your company initials, could be BAE, Airbus, GKN, Boeing. All of these customers could start with that at the beginning and are able to then identify quickly, this is one of my own knowledge bases. So I'm going to select from that in precedent over some of the other ones that are there, if they are still in existence. So I'm going to call this your name. Your name, CNC Milling, and obviously your name is company name, department, however you wish to identify yourself. It could be your initial. So tell it who we are, and these are existing knowledge bases. So that's what we're doing. We're creating one of these, and you'll see some kg mill test, HCl. So these are ones I've done demonstrations for other people during my travels around the world, and you're able to create these as well. So your name will appear at the bottom here because of the way it's going to arrive. So we're not starting from a knowledge base today, but we're going to click on OK. The first work element is going to come in. So we need to set up things that are going to be common, generic, things we want to set by default within the knowledge base. Now, you'll know for your organization that you're going to probably generally always use 100, 1000 components. I'll put in 100 today, and we're going to do them in batch sizes of 10. So this is the setup amortization parameter. So we can use the generic labor rates, or we can enter our own. So we're going to say that today we're working at $88, I believe I'm working in, and our setter receives the same fee for this work element. And I'll just check what I'm working in, options, set project parameters, and yes, I'm working in US dollars today. And maybe I should work in Imperial, as this is US, and that will be saved. Click on OK. So the labor rate doesn't change, nothing's changed, okay. So we look at the experience of the people. Now this will come with time, with experience, and if you watch the calibration for MFG web recording, you will see ways this will help you influence and set the time. And remember, we have our least, our likely, and our most. So most of our people are very good. We have some superstars. We have some less skilled people, maybe apprentices, maybe semi-skilled, but we have a range of capabilities within our shop. I'm happy with that. Who am I? What do I make? So according to what you make, you will set this. If you're making things for an automotive manufacturer, or something a little bit more complex, or something for aerospace and defense, you will set this accordingly. So today I'm going to do this for mass transportation, and I am going to set this according to this. So I'll set it high. I can fire that across using that little button there. Click on, and I can put a note. Click on OK. Labor calibration, again, part of the calibration process. Do I need to apply calibration as a general rule? Am I finding SEER to be coming out 10% high, low? And do I need to give it anything else? So I'll assume we've done a little bit of pre-work, and I'll put a 1.2, so I'm going to add 20% on, maybe for some of the inefficiencies, efficiencies, etc. So now we can choose whether to put our steps in. We're in machining, so it's going to be quite an automated process. So what I'll do is I'll just put in here a few steps on a 90% curve by second 10 on a 93. The next 30 is going to be on a 94. And this is just showing you this for effect. They don't have to be there as long as you've got one in. And I'll do the last 50 on a 95. So we've got step learning. We have individual lots, which we can look at the production lot report in time, and we can see that. But I'm just doing this as our generic knowledge base. So that may be all you wish to do. And that can, again, be saved as a knowledge base at this stage, so that when you load this knowledge base, you don't have to set any of the general tab. You know that it's set. And you could color code it. You could make this one a tag the parameter, and we can make this one, let's make it green. So we need to review that one. Tag that one. We need to review that one. All right, so they've been highlighted so that when you come in to do it, you just ensure that to be correct when you're moving on. Process specific. Now this is going to be part and component specific. So you may not wish to add any operations here, but what you would do is rank the complexity of the setup according to what we're trying to estimate. We would say the process capability based upon our experience with this machine tool and the times that we're achieving, and high is a good starting point for our knowledge bases. We've got no other cost, no additional cost. Tooling, we can have our tooling list here. We can use the default set, or we can come in here and we can have something more specific. We could have, let's say, machine control medium. We may have a holding fixture. There we go, just a holding fixture. So this is our default tooling list. We need to decide whether we're going to prepare a tool for use. Yes, we will. Are we going to clean it and put it away? I will hope so. And then we need to rate the complexity of the tool. So it's going to be just some standard tooling. Very low minus will turn tooling cost off. Very low is going to be there to there. So I've just got a range of tooling, and this is just a sample to show you. At the top, we have the size factors. We could put in the actual size of the tool, but because this is generic, we don't want to do that. So we'll put a factor in and say that the fixture is going to be between 10, 20, and 25% bigger than the actual component size. Click on OK. That's done. Inspection rework, are we happy with that? So we're going to use the SEER default values. In process, we can put that at 2%. In process rework, 1%. And we use the standard there as well. Okay, so we're set there. Part mark and packaging we won't bother with today. And we have everything set up, ready to go. So at this stage, this could be our simplest CNC milling knowledge base. So it's a case of file, save as a knowledge base, and it's going to automatically put it in the location where the knowledge bases reside, and we give it a unique name. Now you'll notice the extension is MCH. MCH is the name given to mechanical knowledge bases. If it was SHT, it would be a sheet metal one for fabrication, and so on. So we're going to call this and that will appear in the list. So this is the file name. Click on Save. This is the name that will appear in our drop-down list. Your name, obviously not your name, but click on OK. We'll go back to our estimate. And now we can insert a work element. Come along here. We're going to do new milling. And we're going to select from the knowledge base your name, CNC lathe mill. Click on OK. That wasn't it, was it? It's your name. Your name, CNC milling. So I've obviously demonstrated that before. There we go. So that's it. And as you notice here, everything is set, ready for you to start machining your first components. So that's one thing you can do. So I'm going to double click this one. I'm going to change it and rename it. Mark II. So we're going to make some more alterations to this one here. So we might decide that I don't want anybody altering, changing any of this. So I'm going to highlight it. I held down the Shift key. I go to my parameters and I'm going to hide them. So they've gone. I've got a much simpler interface now. Come to my process specific, my roll weight, I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to just hide that one. My engineering shape, weight, including roll up, yeah, I'm going to hide that one. default it to be yes. Coming down through, for this type of work, material utilization, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use this. So I'm going to put these back to 0. They're not going to influence the raw material price. I'm not reclaiming any scrap on this particular process. And I'm going to hide them. So we're now getting a much more streamlined here. So I'm going to hide all of them. So now that is it. We add our operations here. We can still add additional items if we need it. We'll tell the model what the material is made from. The tooling is set. We don't need to do any alterations from that. That's set. That's gone. So we now have a much simpler interface to work with. It's taken away many of the things that will distract you, slow you down. You don't need to worry about all of those other settings. They're already done for you. So now we're going to go File, Save as a knowledge base. And I'm going to come down and select your name. Save your name, new milling. So just on a different one. I'll click on OK. And again, home, insert a work element, Mark II. Click on OK. So now that's there. Everything is hidden. We have a simplified work element and there. So that's one way of doing it. Now, when we insert a work element and its fabrication, so it's your name, and I'm going to call it water jet. Fabrication, I'm not going to select any knowledge bases. First, I will just click on OK. Now, to save time, I'm going to take that setting there and I'm going to copy everything there. And I'm going to put that on there. So we just recreated that front edge very, very quickly. All right. So I could have started from that knowledge basis, but it would have been the wrong work element type. So we're ready to start. We're coming here. And again, I don't want to start from flat irregular. It's always going to be flat rectangular. My sizes, my weights, my materials, that's all cool. My reclaim, I'll leave that there. But then I've got to come down and I have to find water jet cutting. It can be a bit frustrating. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to come here. And hide. Come to the top. Hold the shift key and hide. So now when I save this one as a knowledge base, that will be open ready. We can make that a nice green. Must fill that in. Obviously fill in your blank shape. Ensure the material's correct. We'll just leave it at that. So again, that is another one. So now I'll save that, File, Save as a knowledge base. Your name and it's water. name that will appear on the list. Click on OK, go home, insert a work element, water jet. Come here, look at the list. There we go. Your name, water jet cutting, click on OK, and we're ready to go. We're highlighted. We know what we're going to look at here. We don't have to look for water jet cutting in the list. That's already there, ready and waiting for you. So these could become a master file. This file could become where you create and save all of your knowledge bases, and then one by one you just simply save it as a knowledge base. Or my colleague in the US, Dr. Christopher Rush, has a mechanism where he can run a macro and he will save them all automatically for you, or we can send you that file, which is doable. But I'm just going to show you another one. So this is what we were doing there today. And if I come to one I prepared earlier, so it's like a cookery program. These are all knowledge bases. Okay, so I got Mil-Aero General, Automotive General, Commercial General, Mil-Aero high-speed machining, automotive CNC 5-axis machining, and it's really just a case of going right-click. Sorry, that's changed from the menu as file. Save as knowledge base. Give it a name, and save, and save. Come back to the file, to the next one. No, I can't. File, save as a knowledge base. I suggest you give it a more descriptive name than that one. Okay, and home, and file, save as a knowledge base. And save, and click on OK. And the beauty with this is when we go home, if I had to do a mass update, so I could come to work elements, parameters, change multiple, at the beginning of the year, I can come along here, I can look at my currencies, my exchange rates, my calibration, my learning, my labor rates, and I can update all of the labor rates to be my own. My own. Click on OK, click on next, change everyone, and finish. I won't do it, but that would update everything. So because they're there, you can do that in mass as well. So if I come here, I go File, New Estimate. OK. Insert a work element, machining, and there's the ones I just added. Mil-Aero General, Automotive General, Commercial General. So they're all there, ready to go. Click on OK. And they're set up with steps, learning percentages, labor rates, bigger production quantities, process capability changes I expect here, and so on. So that is knowledge bases. Very useful. And the other thing to mention in knowledge bases under options is set paths. So this is where your knowledge bases reside. Mine's stored locally on my C drive. However, if you're working in a large organization, you have a shared network, you can share your knowledge bases across the enterprise, whereas you can then benefit from everybody's knowledge, you can share information and pool your expertise together so that the knowledge base becomes more complete quicker. You're sharing everybody's independent skill sets and benefiting the organization as well. Okay, so that's knowledge bases for today. Thank you for your time, and I'll just pass you back to Steve to close.
Thank you, Keith. So hopefully what we've been able to show over the last 15 or so minutes is firstly how simple it is to create knowledge bases, but also how powerful and how important they are. They are a source of corporate knowledge, as Keith was saying. They are the means and the method for you to share that expert knowledge around the SEER user community within your organization. And they are very simple to set up. They are very simple to maintain, but massively powerful. So once again, thank you for your time. Keith, thank you for your time. Stay safe, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you, Steve. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.